Welcome to today's episode of the Daily Coffee Pro, friends. Today on the podcast, I want to dispel a couple of rumors that have been floating around, and I'm not quite sure where they started, but let's address them. This podcast is not going anywhere. It seems that when I kind of went out and started telling the world that I am moving back to Australia, either some people or I don't know what, but started telling other people that Mapper Forward is going away and this podcast is going away. I want to assure you that is not the case. In fact, what really is happening is that we are growing the brand in 2021. So what does the brand consist of right now, and how is that going to change and be elevated in 2021? Okay, so we have two podcasts within one podcast. So we have the main Mapper Forward podcast, which is conversations between myself and another coffee professional or business owner in the coffee industry across the entire value chain. And those podcasts happen mostly once a week. Every now and then there'll be two every week, but we have them roll out one every week for almost every week of the year. We take a break over Christmas and the New Year. But other than that, we release an episode every week. So on average, there's about 48 to 50 episodes that come out every year. The other podcast that we have inside the Mapper Forward podcast is the Daily Coffee Pro. That's this podcast. And the Daily Coffee Pro is different to the Mapper Forward podcast for a couple of reasons. The Mapper Forward podcast goes for a couple of hours each episode, and it's me and somebody else. The Daily Coffee Pro is me and you. So, and they go for much shorter. So the Daily Coffee Pro, I try and keep it at a maximum to 15 minutes, usually somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes. And the idea behind the Daily Coffee Pro is these episodes come out every weekday on the days when the Mapper Forward podcast doesn't come out. And we use this as an opportunity to give you something to think about today when it comes to the industry, our profession, our businesses. So there's something for you to think about in your professional life. So that's what the podcast is. What else do we have? So we have Mastermind Groups. Our Mastermind Groups are kind of under the umbrella of our consulting and coaching. Now, what we found was that there are some people who can't afford one-on-one consulting, but they do need to get some guidance. So we came up with these group coaching environments where people meet twice a month for 2 hours, maximum of 6 people per group, and we discuss a particular topic around. So there's roasting groups and there's business development groups for the moment. Now, in the roasting groups, they are coached by the fabulous Anne Cooper. And Anne takes questions from roasters in turn based on what challenges they're having every week. Well, they meet twice a month for 2 hours. And Anne takes those questions, and those groups have been phenomenal. The way the people, whether they are starting a roasting company or they do it as a hobby or they're well-seasoned roasters, those groups are just to watch people evolve in the information that they're consuming, and the way that they are learning from Anne specific to their needs is inspiring. If you want to join that group, the link is in the show notes below. Minimum 3 months, $75 per month to be a part of it, USD. And most people continue on with it. It's been 6 months now and people have continued to on with that group. So that's one group. The other group is the business development group, and it's not necessarily run as structured as the roasters group. We have a couple of business development groups that happen at different times because of different time zones. And what happens in those groups is that we have focuses around what the business owners are experiencing and the challenges that they're experiencing. And we talk about a theme. These groups are incredibly special, very tight-knit, very inspiring, and very supportive of each other in the group. They are the highlight of my month every month. These groups is where you see people really flourish in an understanding of the shared challenges that we're all experiencing at this time and the wins that you can experience when you're supported. I'm very, very proud of these groups, and to watch everybody that partakes know how to get through the weeds that are ahead of them is just inspiring. Again, if you'd like to join one of these groups, no matter where you are in the world, to join is $100 per month, and you can sign up. You can see the link in the show notes below. All right, so they're the mastermind groups that we currently have. What else do we have as a part of Map It Forward that is not going away? We have the one-on-one consulting, and that can formulate in the part of you can hire a consultant for an hour, or you can do one-on-one group coaching. That's available as well. So if that's something that you want to get one-on-one coaching with me, or we can find you a coach to help you with roasting or with green buying or with any of that stuff, you can also hit us up and we can help you take care of that. Next, the other thing that we do is online webinars. Now, when we run webinars as a part of our education program, we run them live, and then you can purchase them later on our webinars page. So one of the ones that we currently have available, I am formulating all my words into one today. I apologize. But one of the ones that's available and popular is the assertiveness training. And it's my dream that everybody in our industry gets assertiveness training, whether it be through us or somebody else. Nobody else in this industry is offering it. We have it tailored to the hospitality industry, and it is run by a neuropsychologist, Dr. Jamie Berry, and it is tailored to the hospitality industry. And everybody that takes it says it's magical. The reason it's magical because it helps them understand how they can set boundaries, how to communicate more effectively, and to understand what it is that they're bringing to situations that causes miscommunication, whether it's approaching a situation passively or aggressively. So that's just one example of the webinars that we have available. So we run education programs that will continue to come back next year. And something that we are looking at doing for the rest of this year is to bring back what's the best way to say it? A new and improved version of the Barista Map webinar. So we currently available is how to map a 10-year career as a cafe owner, already up on the webinars page, the assertiveness training, and we did have mapping a 10-year career as a barista up there. We are going to create a revised course of that takes into account 2020 and how you can map a 10-year career as a barista, taking the pandemic and automation and all of that into regard. Now we're trying to find the right sponsor for that so that we can bring it to you for free rather than it be a paid workshop. So once we find that sponsor, we're going to run that workshop in 2020. All right, so that's 2020. That's the offerings that we have right now. How is any of that going to change in 2021? In 2021, we will continue with this podcast as per usual. We will continue with the mastermind groups. We will continue with the one-on-one coaching, and we will continue with the education program. The way that's going to change, however, is we will put the education programs into a Patreon page or something like that, some kind of a subscription platform where we release content every month. It's super affordable. There is a community in there. And this all stemmed from the idea of me wanting to get things away from social media after I watched Our Social Network. I don't think it's a healthy environment, and I would like to create a healthy environment for people to engage. And given that I hear again and again and again, the reason that people don't comment publicly on our content and prefer to send us private messages is because they don't want people to know what they're thinking, given that the content is so intense, given that the content is so personal and relates to a lot of personal development. So hopefully in a protected community like Patreon, we can have more open discussion about how we can change those things. So the education programs that we'll bring to you will be happening at least monthly, and they will, the level that we're going to set the content at is like $5 a month, so it's more accessible to everybody. And so education programs will happen through there. The next thing that's going to happen is in regards to the mastermind groups, we're going to be expanding the group offerings that we have. So we'll have the roasting mastermind groups, we'll have the business development mastermind groups, and what we'll be adding is a mastermind group for cafe owners that would like to become well-equipped, to understand better. Can you tell that I haven't figured out what we're going to call this mastermind group? But cafe owners and baristas and cafe managers who would like to understand the fundamentals of their espresso machines and how to make minor fixes on them. So it's going to be led by an espresso tech who is accredited, but we have to be very careful in the level of information that we give out, because when it comes to dealing with electricity and things like that, we cannot do that through this program. But if you are looking to understand your espresso machine, if you're looking to learn how to do minor adjustments and maintenance, we are starting a mastermind group that directly answers your questions in how to do that. The other mastermind group we are starting next year is a green coffee buyer mastermind group. The whole landscape of that has changed in 2020. And so we will be looking at how we can better improve that experience for people who are looking to develop their career as a green coffee buyer. And we have a couple of people in mind for the coaches of those groups. So that's how the content is changing in 2021. I want to evolve our content so it continually serves you, it continually supports you, it continues to move with the dynamic changes of how social interaction is working and what I think is the healthiest way for us to communicate and engage with each other. Other than that, nothing's going away. If anything, it's growing. And I am privileged to be a part of serving you with this content. Peace, love, and peanut butter, friends. Have an amazing rest of your day.